And we're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Yet another week where Pokemon is doing the exact opposite of what you were hoping it was going to do. So, as always, you might as well do exactly what you should do, like Alex and I, and start selling all of it, man. I don't know if you've seen Spider Man, it's crashing. It doesn't look good. And Pokemon's next. Like, I don't know, man. I think this hobby might just be a brick. But before we jump into it, as always, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, really helps out the channel. And of course, if you're interested in checking out Alex's content, please make sure to check the link down in the description below for that. Alex, you ready to get into it? You ready to talk about this all?
Dude, I'm as ready as I'll ever be right now.
Oh my God, where do you want to begin, dude?
Well, we could start the fact that I just dropped off like 95 packages at UPS of all the product I just dumped because who's going to hold product anymore? It's going to zero.
Right? I don't have any of my mega. Dude, I have no mega booster boxes at the shop. It's crazy. I dumped all of it at market. Like an idiot, you know.
By the way, I am waiting for that. Like the impending crash of Mega is coming because it's released now. I mean, that's what I was told by a lot of people is the TCG player prices aren't real because of the pre-release and you can't sell it. And once like release got here, it was going to crash and crater, and it didn't happen. I don't know. I'm waiting.
Listen, I understand that like the split wave is playing a massive like part in this, but it is still crazy to think about that right now in this like point in time, Mega is technically performing better than Destin Rivals. Like that's kind of weird to think about. And it's not like Destin was at around 245. Like this is sitting over 300 still.
Dude, I'm gonna make the hottest take anyone's said in a long time. I think it's as good or better than Destin Rivals.
Whoa.
I said it was a hot take.
The hottest take of all time, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it there first. I mean,
dude, it's got one of the highest pull rates of a booster box we've seen. I'm averaging between 14 to 16 hits per box when I was opening boxes.
Yeah.
The gold rares are up there with the top tier rarity that we've seen, probably since Alt Arts. And I mean, I haven't looked at TCG player put out hit rates on them or not. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they actually are. The SIRs are still incredibly rare, probably 2 or 3 per case, but it still feels good to open. It's not like prismatic because they're giving you tons of full arts and illustrations and EXs every box. So even if you don't get an SIR or gold, you're getting like 15 hits. And the Pokemon, I would say they have a lot of high like B tier Pokemon, right? It's not your Charizards, all that stuff. But I mean, dude, it's got Venusaur, A tier, right? The Vulpix and the Fire, like, I mean, that illustration is top tier in my opinion. Lucario fighting Venusaur, A+. The 2 gold cards are absolutely, unique. I would say they're right up there with like Red Victini or Reshiram Zekrom for black and white. I don't know, man. If I was a betting man, I think Mega Evolution is going to perform extremely well.
I mean, it is one of those things to think about, right? Because I feel like for the longest time, fans have been asking for some sort of like cool art design on its own for Venusaur or Blastoise. Because I mean, I remember during the whole Sword and Shield era, everyone was like, "Oh man, we're finally gonna get like alt arts of Venusaur and Blastoise," and we never got them. And
yeah,
we got them as a part of like 151, but it wasn't one of those things where they were their own standalone, right? And so this is the first time in Lord knows how long that we've had a actual standalone base set starter that wasn't a part of a Charizard set. So
yeah,
it's very fascinating to see how it's performing, and it's showing you that like there's other cards other than Charizard, other than Eevee, that can actually make a set do really well. Because think about it. I mean, you got your top 3 cards in the set are Gardevoir, Lucario, and Venusaur.
And to be fair, whenever Gardevoir's in a set, it's usually one of the top cards.
Yeah, but I mean, there's been a lot of sets where it's been one of the top cards, and that set's just not done good. Like Sword and Shield, or not Sword and Shield, sorry, Scarlet and Violet base set. It was one of the top cards, but I mean, right now it's
Steam
probably still
Siege,
going for like
terrible.
30-40 bucks.
Yeah, and Steam
Um,
Siege, no good.
Steam Siege, no good.
But
Champions Path.
Unbroken
Remember
Bonds, you could
Champions?
say it might have been carried by the Sylveon in the tag team, but it was the top card in Unbroken.
What about Champions Path? Dude, Champions Path, the rainbow. I mean, literally no one even thinks about that card.
It's because it's a rainbow, yeah. But I mean, dude, the Gardevoir in Paldean Fates is one of the most valuable.
Yeah. No, that's see, that's a shiny Gardevoir though. I feel like that might be a little bit different.
No, the SIR version.
From Paldean Fates?
Yeah, it's like third, I think, right behind the Charizard and Mew.
Am I dumb? Did I not just say that's the shiny version?
Shiny? No, I think it's just an SIR.
Do you not know what I mean by shiny?
Oh, like a shiny Pokemon? Is it?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm articulating because it's
Oh.
blue.
Oh. Okay.
That's all I was saying. I was saying like,
so you think that changes things?
I think it does slightly because shiny Gardevoir is known for being one of the most popular shiny Pokemon. It's kind of like shiny Mew. Like some people are fans of Mew, a lot of people are fans of shiny Mew.
Yeah, another thing about that Mega Lucario, I guarantee they do something like they did with the Charizard Mewtwo, where they'll probably put like the other side of that in like a collection box. I guarantee it. Where Venusaur's on the other side, kind of like the Crown Zenith Mewtwo and the Charizard UPC Charizard. So I'll be looking out for that promo, I'm sure. You know, Latias is always does pretty well. I mean, second best hit in Surging. You know, you got Venusaur, Lily. I mean, one of the most popular female trainers has an SIR. I mean, I don't know, man. Like Ivysaur, you know, Bulbasaur. We got the Vulpix, Steelix. Dude, like I'm not saying it's like the best set ever, but man, like when you take in the pull rates, when you take in the amount of SIRs, the gold chase cards, the illustrations are good. It has the box topper of a Bulbasaur. Dude, I think it's, put it this way. In a normal market, I don't want to shill too hard. In a normal market, it is completely insane, way overvalued. In this market, it's maybe only a little overpriced.
I mean, the prices of the box. Have you seen what the prices of the boxes have done today?
They went up.
Yeah, they're pushing 400 right now.
Well, dude, here's the thing. This is what people don't like. They don't like to take any nuance, right? They just like hear me say something a lot of times, or you say something, they'll take it out of context. Here is the context. The context is not 2022. It is 2025. When you look at 2025 and you say, if base set's 250 and Stellar Crown's 270 and Journey Together's 260, does Mega not deserve to be 300? That's how I look at it. In a regular market, I agree, completely ridiculous. In today's market, looking at what the other sets cost, if it cost $200 a box, it would sell out like that because everyone would buy this set over one of those sets for less.
I mean, Mega's not even, but the thing is, Mega's not even at 300. It's literally the lowest listed sale right now is one. There's one for 360, and after that, it goes to 400.
What?
Yes.
No, I did not see that.
Yes. It's about to hit. It's about to hit 400. Dude, look at how many pages there are of listings. There's 2 pages of listings, and there's 50 sold a day. So that means literally, I mean, this is obviously not going to happen, but right now there is 17 listings.
Okay, guys, stop. Everything I just said, throw out the window. I meant when it was 300 to 310. Right now, yeah, I get it's insane. I did not know that just happened. My bad.
Yes, that's happening right now on TCG Player.
This morning it was 310, I swear.
Yeah, I know. There's a huge like spike that's happening right now for it.
Now I probably I deserve any criticism in the chat right now. I didn't mean it was properly priced at 400.
I mean, here's the thing. There's an average of 73 sold a day right now with 17 listings. Dude, if that's the case, if no one adds anymore, we'll literally be sold out on TCG Player in like a couple hours if you do the math, which obviously there's going to be more listed, but like that's a crazy thing to think about. There's just not a lot of this product. Like, honest to God, there is not a lot of this product. There's just not.
I'm speechless, dude. I don't I don't know what this is anymore. I don't know what the real world is anymore. We're past the moon, dude.
Yeah.
We're some new planet that they didn't know existed.
No, it's legit crazy. It's insane to watch.
Wow.
Someone asked
You
me
know
if
what
I'd
though?
seen the Evolving
Honestly,
Skies case price.
honestly, it makes sense though in an extent because we haven't got that second wave. The second wave will definitely cool things off a bit, but dude, there's just
Dude,
not enough. I'm telling you right now, this first week of openings on my stream at least, I haven't talked to too many others yet, but it was opened relatively the same amount as Destiny Rivals was. Like it got ripped. Like we went through, I don't know, 15 cases of booster boxes.
Evolving
Something like
Skies
that.
case price is at 20 grand on TCG Player. What's the Evolving Skies case price on eBay? That's the real question.
Dude, this is too much anymore, man. I can't keep up. $20,000 lowest list.
That's what it is on TCG Player. Yeah.
Yeah. Last sale 15, so it's probably somewhere in the middle, maybe like 17.5.
I mean, what's it selling for on on eBay? That's the real question. I was feeling really sad about that trade I did where I did that for 2 cases of Final Fantasy. I'm feeling a lot less sad about it right now.
When I look at eBay Evolving Skies booster box case, there's one at auction from Canada right now. There's another one that's been taped over with eBay tape, so we can't really count that one. 19.2 is and this one's a terrible looking case, like 19.2, and then it jumps to 23. There's not a clean case till you get to 23. The 19.2 one's not clean. The 16,000 one's been taped over with eBay tape.
I mean, even the $12,000 one that's on auction right now doesn't look clean in Canada.
No, and it's still got 3 days left, dude. It might be every bit of a $18,000 to $20,000 case now.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, at this point, it's like, I mean, yeah, things are crazy. Did you see Lost Origins at 900 now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Things are definitely running at such a rapid rate. I think the timeline for everything is just getting sped up. I think there's a lot. Another thing that's running up. I know you don't pay as much attention to the PSA market, but PSA 10 slabs, I think are getting more properly valued, in my opinion. I think when you look at the old value of PSA 10s and you took into account how many packs had to be opened to actually pull that card, and then with some of these Scarlet Violet era cards, they have like a 30-something% 10 rate. And you think about how many packs had to be opened and how many cards had to be pulled to finally find one that was gradable in a 10 and then actually get the 10, the amount you have to spend is astronomical. And when those cards were valued at 1, 2, 300, it didn't make sense. And so people have been reaching out to me asking me my takes on this. And honestly, my take is the PSA cards being valued higher makes a lot more sense because just on what it takes to actually get a PSA 10 and actually pull some of these chase cards. It's when boxes cost $200-$300 and packs are, $6, $7, $8, and you have to pull hundreds, if not 1,000 of them to pull a chase card, and then the grading play is 33%, dude, they deserve to be a $500 to $1,000 card. It just is what it is.
I wonder what that's going to mean for the 9s in the future.
I actually had a conversation with this about a bunch of the guys at my local card shop, and I think a lot of people are starting to think that 9s are going to have a little more value than they used to, that they're actually going to sell at somewhat of a premium.
I mean, honestly, the fact that 9s are as low as they are has always been kind of fascinating to me.
Right, because you get the authentication, right? You get the protection, and you have a 100% mint card where it's like people don't realize if you buy near mint, that could mean like PSA 7 quality. And if you guys want to go down the rabbit hole and look at a lot of PSA 7s, there can be quite a bit of whiting on a PSA 7 to be considered near mint. Whereas a mint card, a 9, a lot of times it could be almost indistinguishable from a 10 a lot of the time.
Yeah. No, 100%. I definitely think it's one of those cards, or well, it's one of those things where like these cards that are in 9s should not be worth less than the raw card. You're taking such a greater risk if you're going to go buy it on TCG Player and hope that you're going to get one. I mean, don't get me wrong, like it could work out for you. You could get a card that could be a 10, but like a lot of people are in TCG Players aren't selling their 10s.
But anyway, to get back on the whole thumbnail, like, guys, the thumbnail actually wasn't complete clickbait. We did want to talk about this a little bit. you saw it first on Final Fantasy. If you guys looked at Final Fantasy collector boxes, you can pull it up on TCG. They actually took a pretty good tumble from like the high 14s down to like 1100 and something. I think the lowest it might have hit was like 1130s, 1140s maybe, which is a pretty decent drop, right? Now they've recovered now back in like the high 1200s. And now we're seeing the Spider-Man collector boxes, which could have been for other reasons. Like Eli said, low pull rates. Like I kind of think a lot of it has to do with the no serialized cards, but there's a lot of reasons for it. But the fact of the matter is that things can go up as fast as they can come down, and understanding the risk, because Pokemon's not immune to a pullback. Like, obviously, I still think we have a lot longer to go before that can happen. A lot more supply, a lot less interest. But just understand, if you are taking unnecessary risk that you're not comfortable with, understand that this can happen. A $500 box, a box can go from 3 to 500 as fast as it can go from 300 to 150, especially with reprints and restocks and loss of interest and things like that. So it's kind of a good, kind of lesson you can learn from some of these like crazy swings in Magic right now, if you haven't been a part of it for Pokemon.
I mean, here's my thing on the whole matter of the situation. Like, Pokemon Mega specifically as a set, like we sold out of the boosters in like 2 days. And don't get me wrong, we got obviously 70% of what we were supposed to get because there's still a second wave. But even then, like that just felt ridiculously fast. Even Destin didn't sell that quick. And then on top of that, like if you compare that to how Spider-Man sold in the shop, like it's been brutal. Like Spider-Man has been brutal. And, because of that, I already open product every new set release so I can have singles in the shop. But I opened a little bit extra this time around just because I was like, well, it's not really moving that much. There's obviously some valuable cards that you can pull in it. Let's give it a shot, especially since I am a Spider-Man fan. And I will say that like the pack opening experience, it's not fun. Like it is a literal horrific pack opening experience because if you're someone that is a fan of Spider-Man, like yes, there are some cool cards that you might like, but I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how many duplicates there were. Because like once you've pulled the same card 10 times, you're like, "Oh my god, I don't want to see this card again." Like how have I already pulled every single card in the set except for the most expensive ones? And that's the thing that kind of gets you, is because if you're going to open a set, I feel like it's nice to at least feel like there's certain cards that you're not pulling. But I swear to you, like you're pulling Miles Morales' cards 10 plus times, like Cosmic Spider-Man 10 plus times. Like there's so many specific cards that I found just pulling multiple times. And it just was like not great. So the fact of the matter that you're like opening a set where you're pulling all of the same cards, and then on top of that, getting the top chases are extremely difficult to have. And then also there's no serialized card. Like, yeah, you can go after the Soul Stone. Like that card obviously sold recently for 17K. But it's one of those things where the pack opening experience is just not great for how much. I mean, heck, Edge of Eternities, which Edge on release was going for like $400 a collector box, which is also wildly expensive for a non-IP set. Like I don't think people understand how expensive that is in Magic. The pull rates on that were phenomenal. Like you were able to get really consistently good pulls in collectors without having to get like the number one top chase. So it's a definitely a different experience because some of the playability of these cards isn't as good as you would like it to be, especially too because there was quite a bit of reprints, and that kind of caused prices to just kind of correct on certain ones.
Yeah, and I know we're not taking questions yet, but one lucky viewer had a point I want you to touch on. What do you think about his point where he says, have to realize a lot of Spider-Man fans aren't card collectors or even Magic fans? Do you think that's playing a part of it?
I think here's my sentiment that I will give you, right? Because I'm talking from the card shop perspective. I'm talking about
but you also play, so you're a player.
That is true. I am a player.
You're a pack opener. You enjoy opening packs. So like, I mean, I know you're a card shop owner, but you do all the aspects of it.
Right. Well, I guess the reason why I bring this up is because I'll tell you what my people are telling me in the shop, right? Because we were sold out and we sold out for Edge. Like we had so many people at the shop for Edge. we had half as many people at the shop for Spider-Man pre-release.
Now, what was the release price for Edge?
The release price for Edge, are you talking about for like the pre-releases? So pre-releases are, at least for us, we sell them at MSRP.
Okay, well, what was like the box, like the collector box at release though?
It was 400.
Okay.
But I'm not even talking about collector. I'm talking about the event itself. Because with a pre-release event, you're not coming in buying I mean, obviously, if you want to, you can come in and buy a collector. That's what a lot of people did with Edge. But people were just not excited to play any of the cards in Spider-Man. Like, people looked at the cards and they were like, the set just doesn't seem fun to play. And building around a pre-release doesn't seem great. And so there was half as many people at our pre-release event as there was for Edge. And I'm comparing it to Edge of Eternity because I feel like it's unfair to compare it to Final Fantasy. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And like the biggest sentiment that I got from people wasn't even people complaining about the price. It was people just complaining about the fact that there was nothing in the set that they really wanted. Like, they looked at the set and they were like, there isn't anything in here that really seems that cool that I really like. Like, sure, it's fine if you want to go chase after the Soul Stone or try and pull one of the spectacular Spider-Mans. But like, past that, no one cared about like the Peter Parker card. Like, no one cared about the Miles Morales card or the Gwen Stacy. Most people were literally like, I'm not even a huge Marvel person. I don't really care about this set in the same way I did about Final Fantasy. People
that's what I was going to get at is like, you know, I usually have a pretty good intuition for things. I thought it was a weird move. Like, you know, I have zero connection like to Spider-Man. Like, obviously, like everyone knows Spider-Man or watch Spider-Man movies, but it's like Avatar that's coming up. I think that's going to do much back. I have a much stronger connection to even Avatar, like thinking back to memories as a kid than I do Spider-Man. And Final Fantasy was like a no-brainer. Like, you know, it's one of the most successful video game franchises of all time. You know, I mean, a lot of people grew up with Final Fantasy, loved that. I loved it. Like, I don't know, man. This is not surprising to me. Now, I still hold true. I think if they had serialized cards, like you said, better hit rates, it would have done better. But it's not surprising to me that it's nowhere near as popular as Final Fantasy. And it probably won't be as popular as something like Avatar. Like, I think Spider-Man was a weird move.
I think that the problem with the set itself is, one, there isn't enough crossover between the player base. Two, you obviously had, like you just said, terrible pull rates, not a fun opening experience, not a serialized massive chase card past the Soul Stone. And then three, you just have a set in and of itself that just doesn't have any sort of rationale to its flavoring. And what I mean by that is, like, throwing a Soul Stone, I understand if you're someone that like is super canonical when it comes to like Spider-Man, like intense Spider-Man fans understand that part of the comics was he was the protector of the Soul Stone. But like past that, when you've got like a Soul Stone with a Thanos in it, a lot of people look at that and they're like, why was that thrown in there? Why is this set only based around one soul? Like, there's not enough characters, is what I'm trying to get at within Spider-Man to make it worth it, unless you're like, this set is just not that deep. Like, it's not that deep of a set. Like, if you look at Final Fantasy, there are so many different characters that they added in there that people were fans of, that were of like the higher rarity, and they didn't do that within this set. Like, if you look, like, I will literally read you off the top cards within this set. They're just repeats. It's like you've got multiple Gun Stacy's as a top card. You've got multiple different Miles Moraleses as a top card. You've got multiple different Eddie Brocks as a top card. And so it's not one of these things where it's like, oh, cool, I pulled a different Spider-Man villain and there's 30 different ones that I could have pulled. It's, no, I pulled this version of an Eddie Brock. And it's just like, cool, I got a different art design of Eddie Brock. It's like, I don't want to pull 3 different Eddie Brock cards. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that just kind of turns you off from the set entirely.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, personally, I know we like made the title and thumbnail, like, you know, like for clickbaity, you know, attraction, but I don't know how much this, I don't think has any influence on the Pokemon market at the current time. I think it's a good lesson to like look at what can happen in a short period of time if the narrative changes, or if, like, you know, print changes or demand shifts. But yeah, man. I mean, looking at Mega Evolutions, like running to 400, I think eBay is probably next. Like, if I was asked, Alex, do you think more supply is going to hit and it's going to drop back to eBay price? Or do you think eBay price is going to rise to TCG player? I think eBay is going to rise to TCG player price. I just think everyone, we talked about it. Once we got that news, me and you completely shifted our views and said this is going to go to the moon. Once we got the news, it's going to be in waves and we're only getting like 60% of it up front or whatever. I just don't think enough's out there. I think it's getting opened way too quick, like way too quick. The lack of ETBs at release, even when those hits, probably not going to be enough packs because, you know, only 9 come per pack. I just think we're probably going to be waiting until that second wave of boosters to really see if any sizable correction. I just don't see it right now.
Well, really and we also talked about it too, like the week before release. I said, let that be like something to pay attention to for Mega, because that's going to tell a story. Because usually you'll see a run up or you'll see like kind of a price correction then right before the release happens. And we saw a run up in price. Like we saw the box go from 270 to 340, 320. And then literally we said, okay, based on what we're seeing on this, if a run up like this happens, that usually means it's going to hold pretty strong on its release, or at the worst, it's going to drop a little bit and then it's going to rebound, which that's exactly what it did. Like the box went down to 260 from 300 and then it rebounded to where it is now. So like it did exactly what we thought it was going to do. It's just doing it much faster as normally would because of the supply. Like which we knew this, right? We know there's a second wave and that this product is significantly more scarce.
Yeah, man. And then, you know, just like, dude, these things keep compounding. Like, I don't know why it's so demonized for us on YouTube to tell people the truth. I think it's just uncomfortable to hear. But guys, there's too much compounding at this point. I mean, you have Destined Rivals now holding, even after the big run, it's holding well over $400 a box. You have this running to 400. Right? You have the lowest box, I believe, is SV base at 250. All the other boxes are in the high 200s, if not low 300s or mid 300s at this point. You know, 151 packs are out of control. Paladin Fate's out of control. I mean, Shrouded Fable's the cheapest thing you can pretty much find. Even those ETBs are getting expensive. The packs are like $7 or $8. I think $8 now for Shrouded Fable. And then Prismatic Evolutions is eating up all the print because Pokemon is like, you know, hell bent on trying to correct the prismatic market and they just can't do it. And because of that, they're letting everything else, you know, back up. And honestly, man, with the rate that they're releasing sets, I just don't see it. I don't see how they ever catch up and get things under control. Phantasmal Flames not going to allow them to do it. Then you're going to have what, a specialty set, then 2 more other mega sets while everything else is still building. While people are still chomping at the bit. Like right now, you have people on the sidelines wanting to spend money. And they're looking at everything like, man, everything's really expensive. I'll wait for an entrance. And as soon as we get any kind of pullback, 10, 20, 30%, dude, all the investors are going to line up buying it. It's kind of like distribution right now. The minute things start getting even a little less margins, if that ever happens, and like the big guys like you start like, you know, not ordering their max amount, how many are right in line? How many mid-level stores are going to start ordering more? Then when it gets down to the low level guys like me, how much are we going to order? Like the time for it to actually get to like products still being actually in stock at distributors, dude, I think we're like years out at this point. Like there's so many people that want to get in with distro and start ordering. There's so many investors that want to get their money to work in this market. And there's just no opportunities because every time one presents itself, it gets eaten up like that.
Yeah.
But again, that's a extremely negative thing to say online because it makes people upset that things aren't going to get cheaper. And I'm not trying to be like the bearer of bad news. I'm just keeping it real. That's where we're at. This is the hobby.
Yeah. I think that the only thing at this point that's really going to destroy the hobby, or I shouldn't say destroy the hobby, I don't like that word. The only thing that's going to make the hobby slow down at this point is a set that just flops and then following it up with more supply coming on the market and then a momentum. Because we're in a momentum point right now. Like that's realistically what's happening currently. There is a huge wave of momentum because if you go back and you look at the Sword and Shield era, right? Within the Sword and Shield era, where things kind of took a turn was Fusion Strike, and then after Brilliant, it was Astral Radiance and Pokemon Go. So you had this weird thing where you had like Chilling Reign, you had Evolving Skies, you had Celebrations, and those were all hotly anticipated sets. And then you had Fusion be like the first set that did bad because more supply came on the market, and more specifically, it got overshadowed by Brilliant because everyone's like, "Oh my god, we're gonna get an Alt-Art Charizard set." So it showed you that at that point there was a set that could perform bad even during that bull market. And then once Brilliant was done, it was followed up by Astral Radiance, which most people were super low on, and then Pokemon Go, and that just drove so many people out of the space at that point. And they were able to play catch up on a lot of the supply for things. So like with Pokemon, I feel like at this point, we've yet to see that set that is like a Fusion Strike in terms of, oh, well, I'm going to skip this set. There hasn't, like, you can crap all you want on Journey Together. It's sitting at 260 a booster box right now.
Yeah.
Like Fusion, for those of you guys that don't remember, it was sitting at $90 for so long. Like so long. Like even its pre-order for like pre-release, it was selling for like 115, 120, where like everything else, even Battle Styles was selling for like 150 plus. Which don't get me wrong, like Battle Styles, that was during the split waves and there wasn't a lot of supply. But like, once again, point I'm getting to is that we need that set that comes out that people are like, we're going to skip it, followed up with supply coming onto the market, and then eventually more sets that come out that people just aren't excited about for the set to come out, or for just the sets coming out.
Yeah, it takes. Here's the thing: you hit the nail on the head with momentum. I've been trying to, get this to people's heads, and they just don't want to listen. But you're actually better off continuing to buy and take risks in a momentum-driven market when it's to the upside, even if the prices are higher. And that's where I feel like I miss the mark a lot, is explaining it correctly, because it hits people wrong. Because they hear, "Oh, you want me to buy at higher prices?" FOMO, artists, chill, all that. It's like, guys, if you know anything about markets, right? When you're in a momentum cycle, that is you're actually better off getting involved. Even if you bought higher than the day before and the day before that, you're still better off getting involved, because the likelihood of that momentum continuing to carry stronger and stronger and gain more momentum is actually more than the likelihood of it just dissipating and coming down. It's not to say things go up forever. It's just to say that if you continue to get involved, by the time that momentum eventually does, dissipate, you've likely made so many gains on the run up that even if it does fall 10, 20, 30%, it doesn't even eat into the gains you've already made and anything you've already flipped and realized the gains on. And so just like right now, right? Everyone's freaking out saying, I'm not buying Mega Evolutions at, 250 to 300. Well, now it's going to run up, and guess what? You could already be realizing gains. You could already reducing your cost basis just because you're in a momentum filled market. And so Eli hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it from like a very, I don't want to use the word bearish perspective, but like from a corrective perspective many times, right? And the one thing that I kept hearing for the longest time was after 8 to 10 months, that's usually like their print window. And we're still waiting. Like it's been almost the 10-month mark, right? And I'm taking a step back and saying, let's take Prismatic, right? Prismatic came out in January. Like I think I made this statement like 2 months ago. I said, if we get past October and we haven't seen any sort of major supply, I'm going to start to get worried. And we're at the end of September going into October, and we're not done with October yet, but it doesn't feel very good right now. Like it doesn't bode well for like any sort of like supply coming onto the market. And so at this point, I mean, I'm going to keep saying it, like the trend is your friend until the end of the trend. But realistically, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And until we see something major happen, you kind of have to just live in what's happening right now and just kind of take it as it is. Always, of course, be like cautious when it comes to your investing, but still like realize what's now kind of been normal for much longer than a lot of people anticipated.
Yeah, and I keep looking at like the blocks, the rotation blocks. And it's like, so we're now like 6 months away from SV base, Paldea, Paradox, Obsidian, Paldean Fates 151 out of print. And so all this like rhetoric of it's still in print, they're going to print more. It's like, guys, they got like 6 months left to print more.
That's
and then you're not going to see anymore. And all that rhetoric is going to go out the window and you're going to realize you've been bamboozled. Well, then take it one step further. Prismatic Evolutions, Twilight Masquerade. These sets, they're in the next block. That is 2027 April. So this thing of, oh, they were printed for years and years. How can they do that? It only has a year and a half left in print. Those sets get out of print in a year and a half. They're in the very next block. There's 3 blocks in SV. And it's just like, I think people are losing sight of the time that is continuously ticking away. And they keep this vision that they've been, repeating for a year now. They're just going to print more. It's going to print for years, print for years. The years are going by. The months are going by. Eventually, there is no time left. Eventually, it's over. You either got it or you didn't.
I don't understand that take that people have about it still being in rotation. I mean, I feel like we should have learned this lesson with Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies was still in rotation for, I think, almost a full year, and it still ended up not boding well for its overall reprints. It never happened again.
No, I think it's just like I think what it is like 1 or 2 people say it, like maybe like social media content creators. And then a lot of the new people kind of pick that up as like their rallying cry. And they like use that because like a lot of people, as we know, are new to the hobby, haven't been in long enough. They don't really have a lot of like arguments to use. So they pick up little things like that and say, they're so stupid. It's still in print, or they're going to print it into the ground. And it's just like, you guys obviously haven't been here very long because that's not always been the case ever. I mean, they sure printed Sword and Shield base set booster boxes into the ground, didn't they?
Sorry, I had my employee text me a question. Yeah, I am not. I am of the belief, I've said this before, I'll say it again, that Pokemon has to pick and choose their battles. Those sets were cheap for the longest time, so they don't see a need for them to have to go back and print those items because people had so much opportunity to go get it for cheap. And so right now, if they're going to print anything, it's going to be the things that haven't had a second to be cheap, which is Destined Rivals, Journey Together, Mega, Prismatic. So who knows what it's going to look like when it happens, but I will say this. When we get the first like major reprint of any of those boxes, if we don't see, and when I say major, I mean like we're taking pre-orders as a like program. If we don't see any major correction, like I will say that people now need to be ready to accept the fact that some reprints might not be able to do enough.
Yeah.
Because that's just it.
Yeah. And not only that, like the single cards, I mean, they're getting scarce. The grading, the PSA cards are getting scarce because one, PSA and I think other grading backlogs are getting longer. The prices of grading is going up. PSA just raised their prices again. And so that's artificially raising the price of the graded slab, right? Because, until people stop paying it, like who's going to take a losses? So, if it used to cost $15 to grade way back when, now it's, $20, $25 to grade. Well, it's like now that's, eaten into the price of the card. So now even a cheap card is going to cost 30, 35 and more expensive cards are going to have that, built in. The supply on the market is more scarce than ever. I mean, there's a lot of PSA 10s I've been looking recently in Scarlet Violet era that have like 10 to 30 copies on the entire market.
Dude, I want to point this out right now. So I'm looking at the daily sales volume for the mega set. So on September the 26th, which was the release day, right? Release day, you saw the highest amount of sales for 313 items sold. If you look at the weekend, you have a sale on Saturday of 167 and 118. So significantly less compared to 313, obviously, right? Today, September 29th, which I understand they're doing Eastern Standard Time. So right now they're going off of 344. They already have 200 sold. So right now the sales volume, it's selling like crazy. It looks like the sales volume for today, this sounds so weird to say, but it might actually break the sales volume for the release day. And right now, if you're looking at the recent sales, we have over 20 recent sales of over $400 now since we just started talking 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, and one thing I want to tell people too is when you look at these guys, always look at what the big sellers are at, because what you'll see is you'll see a lot of like small sellers try to jump in and get that quick buck. Like right now, you have a 0% guy just hop in at 265. You have someone, I mean, when you don't get to like a large scale store, Limitless Games, 50,000 plus sales, they're at 448, 448.95. Everyone below them is like in the hundreds, 30 sales. Like Legendary Hobby, they have, 2,180 sales, but it's just like you see all of the, I would say, like more established, really large scale stores all raising their prices. That gives you an idea where the price is going to go, because eventually a lot of the smaller guys who maybe have a few boxes, a case or something, those will go like that. And then the price immediately rebounds. And so, yeah, it's getting scary to see how low supply's out there.
Dude, this is so weird. Like, dude, I'm like refreshing the page on TCG Player. No, it's weird because there's like listings that are like actively being sold and added right now, like a stock is being traded. Like, oh my God, dude, this is crazy. Like, this sales volume is wild. Sorry,
Hey,
it's throwing me off.
Take a super chat?
Yeah, let's take the super chat and we can start going into questions. I didn't realize we've already been going for 40 minutes. Shout out to Poke Knowledge Cards. Thank you so much for the $10. Right now is the worst time to hold cash, in my opinion. Thoughts? I mean, dude, it's yeah.
I mean, dude, crypto's running back up. I mean, the real estate in certain parts of the country is like, I would say flatlining or dropping, especially like I know Florida's like coming down a little bit because that is a huge run, but a lot of the parts of the country, real estate stable right now. Precious metals, they're on massive runs. Stock market, massive runs. Pokemon, other TCGs doing fantastic. I mean, yeah, anyone holding cash right now is definitely missing out. I mean, if you're worried, I guess, right? If you're just like extremely worried, I get it. But I guess it depends on how stable your situation is. I mean, I tend to agree. Like I'm constantly finding new things where I can put my money other than cash right now.
I talked about this last week. I literally said it. The people that are feeling the market the most are the ones that don't have assets.
Yes.
And the ones that obviously have their money in assets are they're reaping the rewards the most. So it's as simple as that. If you don't have a ton of assets right now, you're getting crushed by inflation. If you do have a ton of assets, then you don't mind it. It's just melting up. It's the melt up. That's literally what they've talked about historically before, where you kind of have that divide between like the middle class shrinking and the 1% and the lower class dividing stronger because, look at where the majority of the assets are being held. So if you're an everyday American, like if I were you, hopefully this doesn't come off the wrong way, but I would definitely say, hyper focusing on saving money to be more aggressive with investing in assets is not, I don't think that's ever been necessarily a bad thing. Like people are obviously a fan of the FIRE movement. That's a huge thing. But I feel like now more than ever, it feels like it's even stronger just based off of the way in which inflation is currently. Also, just one other thing I want to say, and we can start going into questions. I've obviously been just refreshing the page, right? And I don't know if someone's doing this because we're doing a live stream and they're just trolling, but someone just listed the box for $360 on for Mega. They have 700.
No, that's Trading Card World. I don't know what their deal is. Like, I don't know if they even have as many products. They do this all the time. I've seen Trading Card World do this with multiple products, cards sealed. I don't even know if they have as many as they put, but they constantly do that to try to like influence the market. So,
okay.
I don't really take Trading Card World that serious.
Well, I was looking at that and I was like, I wonder if that probably will slow down the price increase.
They do that all the time though. And then magically the listing will be gone like hours later or a day later. It's
crazy.
It's kind of like one of like the unknown, untalked about secrets is the Trading Card World's always going to hop in at some point and try doing some weird stuff.
So we'll start taking questions as mentioned before. Really helps out the channel. If you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and then you can check out Alex's content. We got a link down there. And then if you have a question, make sure you type in bold question, followed up with your question, or in all caps, what your question is. It makes it easier for us. We'll try and obviously answer as many as we can, but we usually don't get to a lot of them, sadly. Oh my God, I am scrolling up so much. Active chat today.
Someone said trading card world is Pokemon in disguise trying to control the market. I think if they were that, they'd have more than 4,500 sales. Just saying.
Very generic question. One thing I will say for those of you guys that do have questions, more details is better for us. So obviously we can answer this question, but it's super duper like specific. So if you had like giving us multiple examples of like specific sets, that might help us answer this question. Because at least for me, my answer is it's a case by case basis, like 100% a case by case basis. Like if you said, a couple weeks ago, 151, would you rather get the bundles or the ETBs? Bundles all day. Because if you looked at the price per pack, that's kind of what you're saying to yourself is, what is the premium that I am paying on the price per pack compared to loose for that specific sealed product? And do I think it's undervalued comparatively?
Dude, you know me. I was not the biggest bundle fan when they came out. I think bundles are actually taking the place as like the second under a booster box over ETBs.
I mean, it's not bad anymore because you have a lot of people. This sounds weird, and I think I've said this in shop. People love bundles because people get scared of getting ripped off by like loose packs, and with a bundle, they feel so much more secure.
Yes. Yeah, the price point's better. So for some reason, the bundle displays, the 10 bundle displays have just like went off the charts, and it's just like become almost like the main collectible for a specialty set, if that makes sense, because they don't have booster boxes. It seems like that's the one thing people want to hold instead of like a case. The 25 count cases are doing extremely well. The master cases are obviously crazy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Eli said, it's a case by case basis. If it's something like 151 where the ETBs are just so astronomically priced and the price per pack is outrageous, I'm taking the bundle. But if it's something where it's much closer in price, that could definitely be talked about, especially if it has a good promo card. Yeah, like Dylan, like Eli said, it's just too broad, man.
Alex, what green screen you use for your prismatic poster video, dude?
Dude, I wish it was a green screen. It is a lot of work handling all this product we have now. I mean, I've built so many shelves I can't count at this point. I mean, I have tons of shelves out here, tons of shelves here. I have a storage unit. There's so much product that I'm just constantly moving through our hands at this point that it'd be easier if it was all on a green screen and all just like numbers on a screen. Unfortunately, no green screen, man. I was just telling Eli before this, like, I mean, I don't know if people think I like am just like talking game and not putting my money where my mouth is, but guys, I've been talking about prismatic evolutions for weeks now. You guys know my feelings on it. I tell you what I'm doing. Some people just can agree or disagree, but I'm up to near 10,000 packs of prismatic evolutions, whether they be loose, poster collections, ETB cases, PC ETBs, and bundles. And I want to have that position, if not more. Prismatic Evolutions is one of my biggest picks for this entire era. And yeah, I'm going heavy in it. Anytime I can find good prices right now, I'm going heavy. I don't believe the rhetoric of, don't pay over MSRP. I wanted to touch on that. In that video, and we talked about this, Eli. In that video, I love these comments. Guys, let me break down the hypocrisy for you real quick. So the same group of people online, they'll say this one phrase: I will not pay over MSRP. In that video, I start out by saying, I'm a Timmy because I paid over MSRP for all of these. Then those same people will say, Alex, you took it all. You should have left some for everyone else. This is why I can't get any. No. You can get it. You don't want it because it's over MSRP. So I bought it. So why are you unhappy with me because it was something you weren't going to buy anyway? It blows my mind when I break it down. I really can't think about it too much because it gives my brain, hurt. But yeah, man, I truly believe in the set. I think people are completely discounting the fact of the value of the God pack, the value of the cards inside. how popular evolutions are, and they're letting their anger for the set, the price, the online rhetoric, kind of cloud their brains. And I truly don't think they're going to be able to print enough in the next year and a half to really bring it down enough to make a difference. So that's my thing on Prismatic.
I mean, I've said this before. I feel like there's a lot of people that are always going to be emotional and give themselves rationale to like not invest. Like we've used this example a bajillion times, but like Charizard's Supreme Collection, when it was too expensive, people didn't pick it up and said they would if it was cheaper. And then when it got cheaper, people said it was a brick. So it's the same thing where like now the product's over MSRP, people are still going to get upset and say that it's not worth picking it up. I'm going to wait until it goes to MSRP or at or below MSRP. We've been saying forever Prismatic is a really good buy at like $90 or $100 in ETB, and now it's at like 135, 140. So as much as I hate to say it, guys, but like you can't just only look at an investment and say it's good because it's at MSRP. Like if it's one that's above MSRP, it can still be a good investment.
Of course, right? I mean, pretty much anything you're buying now is going to be over MSRP unless you go find some stuff in stores or on some drop. But unless you're like an actual botter or something, like it's unlikely you're going to be able to get enough quantity to really hit like any type of position sizes you want to hit, unless you're just at a smaller size, and that's fine too. Like, I mean, when I started out, I wasn't buying anywhere near what I'm buying. I was buying a few of each product. And so, yeah, you may be able to find MSRP prices for like a small position, but like anything I'm looking to do, I mean, even if I wanted to spend time going to search around all these like retail shops or trying to get in on these online, queues, which I don't, it's just hard to get enough to really make a sizable position. And so the only way to do that is buy on the secondary market, try to get a deal under market price, based on buying quantity, and then, believing in what you think and putting it away and seeing what happens. It's really all it comes down to.
Shout out to Tomas. Thank you so much for the donation. Hi guys, thanks for the content question. What is the perception of JTG by shop, customer Eli, and then rip and ship client Alex? I think it's a great set, so I don't know why the set is hated so much.
I really don't know either. I think it's a small set. Maybe the pulls were easy. People didn't like the main hit was a Clefairy, even though it's a Lily's Clefairy, and Lily's one of the most popular female trainers. I think those are a few of the reasons, but every time, here's the thing. I've been having a hard time finding Journey Together packs at good prices. They're actually not as easy to come by as you think. And whenever I get them in, they sell. Right now we're sold out of Journey Together. So it actually sells very good on stream. I think a lot of the perception has to just be the main chase card and the size of the set is what people don't like. But I mean, honestly, I think it's probably going to perform relatively well. Like I think it'll be somewhere in the middle when everything's said and done.
Yeah, I didn't open Journey Together, so I can't give you the perspective of the opener, but I will say that like a lot of people get upset when they open a concentrated like amount of cards that are all, I mean, the same. That's what I mean by concentrated, right? Like if I'm pulling the same exact card over and over again because it's a smaller set, then that obviously can get a little aggravating versus if you're pulling cards that are kind of more of a variety and they have some sort of value to it. I mean, you look at the set overall, there's not as many big chase cards compared to some of the sets around it. Like if I just pull up Journey Together right now and I take a look at some of the singles in the set, you've got one card that's over $100. And so like we talked about this on last stream. I feel like we talk about this on every stream. People are willing to pay more per pack if they can get a big chase. People like the chase. People like feeling that they've got a shot at getting something that's going to pay for it back. And so with the Lily's Clefairy, that being your only chase, it feels bad, right? And right now, that being at 260, like, I don't know. I feel like people would prefer to go a different direction when it comes to opening packs and hopefully getting something of value.
Yeah, the other reason I like Journey Together is you're making like a double play. You're making a play on the set and the box topper, right? Because if the box topper promo takes off, like that's another shot you have of it rising in value. It's a lot like buying like a collection box or like a 3-pack blister if you're trying to make a play. Like you're making a play on the packs, but you're also making a play on the promo at the same time. So it kind of gives you like a two-pronged approach. So I like that about Journey.
Will Phantasmal Flames ramp the market up to 1 million? I'm in Canada. I don't see any signs of the market cooling off unless the rates go up. I think we are in for a huge ride.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were reports coming out too. I could be wrong. I didn't fact check it, but apparently, like some of the countries, like Canada and some other ones, are starting to like consider making deals with Trump with like zero tariffs and like doing zero reciprocal tariffs. And if that's the case, and the tariffs are going away, I mean, it could send this market. I mean, everything's into oblivion. I mean, I don't, I don't know anymore, man. I don't think lower prices are coming this year.
Yeah, unless we get some insane reprint that somehow is able to tank the market, you have to have a set that's going to, like I said, like weaken this market. And Phantasmal Flames does not seem to be that set. I mean, I feel like this is rhetorical, but I'll always ask Alex, have you seen the cards in Phantasmal?
I saw the Charizard, and then I don't know, I saw a Gengar, but then now they're saying it's not going to be in the set, so I think I just saw the Charizard.
Okay, you just saw the Charizard. Yeah, I mean, some of the cards were released, obviously, for Phantasmal or Inferno X for Japan. It looks like it's going to be a good set, man. Like, at least how I'm looking at it, I don't think this is going to be one of those, oh my God, here we go. Another Charizard set, like full of just a Charizard and nothing else. Like the set itself actually looks like it has some good cards in it.
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of list a few of them for you guys. I mean, you might not agree with this take, but other than the Mega Charizard, I'm trying to see if I can find some of the cards.
Is it Obsidian Flames 2.0?
I'm trying to find some of it. I don't know why I can't find the card list.
Here, go ahead, look for that. I want to respond to Hawk Lugia.
Yeah.
He said it can't take the entire market, though. There's still a market for older sets, even if print Mega and Phantasmal stupidly. Yeah, so I actually do want to respond to that, guys. Me and Eli both been here. Tons of people in chat have been here far longer than the last couple years. There's card shops. Like my local card shop's been in business since 2001. There's tons of people in the hobby that have content, that make content, that have been in the hobby 10 plus years. Guys, people are trying to portray a crash or a bear market to scare you. Okay. Their business is done in every market. Honestly, sometimes business can be better in a more flat or bear market because it's less risky. Honestly, it's easier to buy from people because they're more willing to dump at lower percentages, 75, 70%. You can make higher margins. And there's more product to go around. There's more, I wouldn't say more liquidity, but there's more volume that can be moved, right? So if you can move more volume at a lower price, you could actually do better than moving a small volume at a high price. And, you know, people are still grading cards. People are still buying graded cards. People are still buying single cards. People are still buying playable cards. People are still opening sealed product. I think this idea that like the market's going to crash and everything, no one buys Pokemon cards anymore, it's completely ludicrous, man. It's never happened, even in terrible times. Like 2017 and 18 were pretty slow. 2022, 2023 were slow. But I mean, dude, I went full time during a bearish market. I went full time in this hobby during a more bearish market. How do people go full time in this hobby if it wasn't like a rocking crazy market, right? There's still business to be done all the time. There's still buyers.
Oh yeah, 100%. I can't seem to find it. I don't know why. Well, we'll move on, but I must have seen it somewhere on Twitter. Some of the cards, but they look good. It doesn't look like it's a brick set, is what I'm trying to articulate. Yeah. With the 2 Phantasmal Flames promos confirmed in the Charizard X UPC, Shinji Kanda as second promo artist, do you agree that this will be an astronomical with the current climate?
Dude, I think it's irresponsible at this point. I think Pokemon knows exactly what they're doing. I mean, think about this. They put out Mega, then Phantasmal Flames 7 weeks later. They have the Charizard UPC. They have the GameStop exclusive Moltres UPC. I mean, dude, if people think they want the market to cool down, they're showing no signs of it. Let's say that.
Yeah, Pokemon definitely knows what they're doing right now.
Like these are not Terapagos UPCs here. These are not. Remember the black Sword and Shield base set or the Sword and Shield UPCs? These are not those, right? This is not These are products that everyone knows are going to do extremely well, that everybody's going to want. Releasing them into one of the hottest markets we've ever seen. They're not trying to cool things off. They're trying to fan the flames.
Shout out to Yuta on the $5. What do you think about adding other TCGs to invest in, like One Piece and Arcana?
I don't like it. Pokemon's the gold standard. If you're wanting to diversify, in my opinion, I would diversify in other assets if you're looking to diversify, not financial advice. But me and Eli were talking about pre-stream actually, that, if and when there does come a time where the markets cool off and the TCG market cools off, you're going to want to be in things like Pokemon and like Magic, probably One Piece maybe, but like some of these other TCGs that are like catching steam right now, a lot of those are going to cool off and go dormant way faster than any of the big guys are. And so, like, if you're thinking you're too heavy in Pokemon or something, you want to diversify. I mean, there's a lot of other areas to diversify money into. I wouldn't go to, like, unless you just really believe in it and you're really looking to like take a shot, I wouldn't go out of the hottest thing running right now. Pokemon's the hottest. It's the king.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Alex, and I was talking about this from the example of like Flesh and Blood. That's a perfect one, right? Where you look at a set, like Tales of Aria or Monarch, which, don't get me wrong, there's a good amount of that product that was printed. But if you look at some of their first edition boxes, you can go buy them right now for like in the low 50s on TCG Player. Lord knows how much you can go buy them for, probably off, and off site, right? And it's not like this is an item that's been at 50 forever. Like, this is an item that at one point at Tales of Aria was sitting at like $100 a box, and it's crashed because it's not in rotation, or it's not as, if I'm correct, I'm not an expert on Flesh and Blood, but it's not part of one of the main like sets that people play with for the cards. And Flesh and Blood is a much bigger player base than it is a collector base at this point. And so like, I feel like it's a game that's going to do really, really well, but it's not mature enough to where I can say without extreme speculation that you're going to want to just sit on a bunch of these older boxes with the expectation that they're just going to go up. Because for all we know, this could be a game that keeps living on because it's a game and people like to play it. But realistically, some of these older boxes don't ever end up popping off. I could be wrong, right? Like I said, it's ultimate speculation. But if you had that same thought process with Monarch 3 years ago when Rudy was pumping the crap out of it, when it was $200, you're down 75%. So,
yeah. And honestly, guys, like, I could be wrong, been wrong before, but like, if I'm wanting to take more risky plays, I'd just take more risky plays in Pokemon. I wouldn't look for other TCGs. I would make more risky plays on like singles or graded slabs and try to make, different guesses and bets on those. Because, like, I mean, we've seen what happens when the singles and slabs really take off. I mean, you're making exponential returns and you're still within, the king of the hobbies. I would rather take those kind of risks than try to risk it in other TCGs that are, more unproven and untested.
it's so speculative. It is extremely speculative.
Yeah.
All right, where are we on the next question?
Everyone's saying the trading card world listing's already gone.
Oh,
maybe,
is it really?
Maybe they do watch the channel and they heard us call them out.
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's disappeared magically. Yeah, where are we then now on the Mega Boosters? Let's take a look. Yeah, no, it's gone, like you said. So
I will say, though, it looks like we may have an actual price correction, though. We now have a shop that has 10,000 sales listing at $357 plus 7 shipping. So maybe it does correct back down in the mid threes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see as the sales data rolls in over the next couple of hours, but it'll definitely be something worth watching because the sales volume right now is extremely aggressive. I think it's very possible that this will finish end of day higher sales volume than release day, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Next question though, where am I? 151. 10 prismatic ETBs at 100 each, or 1 ETB case at
1450.
Did they mean PC ETB case? Probably.
No, that's how that. dude, a prismatic ETB case is almost $2,000. Like both these prices, I would take both.
Oh, he's talking about the sealed case.
Yeah, dude, I would take both. Like I would not say one or the other. Like if you can truly get these, put it this way, man. If someone can truly get these priced at $100 in ETB, I'll take as many as you have. Like send them my way. I will take as many as they have. Because that is like $40 under market price right now. That's like crazy discount.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
I never know if like any of these like things are real, like, you know, because you can just type anything in a chat. If it is, man, if you can honestly get that from somebody and someone's willing to sell it at that, no idea why, I would back the truck up and take every bit you can.
Yeah. What is the current best sealed investment besides Prismatic Evolution, in your opinion?
I would have said 151, but since it's already went on a massive run, like for the time being right now, I don't know. What's yours?
I'm thinking. I'm honestly thinking. I mean, I think the hardest part for me is that, like, what time frame are we looking in? Because right now, like I've talked about this before, I think that the White Flare and Black Bolt are a good pickup, but I think that's relative to the long term. I have no clue how it's going to perform in the short term.
Yeah, Paladin Fates is already expensive, dude. Yeah. I'm almost tempted to say, just go pick up another box of Evolving Skies. I mean, dude, here's the thing about Evolving Skies. I was just looking at it a couple of days ago. Everything else keeps running, and for some reason, Evolving Skies hit a ceiling at like 2,700. I feel like it's only a matter of time until it breaks out and goes to 335. So, like, I don't know. Evolving Skies actually doesn't sound too bad right now where it's been stuck at.
You know what I think is a crazy take? This is actually a crazy question that I'm going to ask you. What do you think happens first? Evolving hits 10,000 or Paldea Evolved hits 1,000?
Paldea.
The only reason why I think that's a crazy question to ask is because, like, look at what's been going on with Team Up.
Yeah, I know, but if I think Paldea, when it actually hits out of print, you have to remember the online. I know it's like a lot of, you know, like we talk about the crazies out there, like pushing forth this, like, you know, like almost like fear mongering tactic of don't buy anything till it's out of print, dude. Once that goes away and people feel comfortable buying all the first 6 SV sets because they're out of print, out of rotation, I think that's going to give all those boxes and cards a good leg up next April. I wouldn't be surprised to see Paldea run to like $600-700 a box after that. And then it's like, well, what is it going to get from next year from 600-700 to 1,000, or is Evolving going to be at what, maybe 3-4? Is that going to get a 10? I don't know. It seems easier to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's too close, honestly, at this point for me to call, as crazy as it sounds. Because for me, at least with Evolving Skies, if it follows,
either option, by the way, isn't a bad option. That's just the one I took.
It's crazy though, because if you look at the gap, like it feels definitely a lot bigger for Evolving to make that jump than for Paldea. But also at the same time, if you look at the jump that was made with Team Up, it went from like 4 to like 8.
What about Phantom Forces? Even crazier.
Yeah, these boxes are making massive jumps. They're not small jumps, they're big jumps.
Well, you know what's Rudy actually said this in a video, and it's what people don't think about a lot, is markets move in percentages. And I think when the numbers get bigger, it looks more drastic than it's still a drastic move, but it's just like, you know, you look at a box going from 2 to 400 and you don't think much of it. Like, yeah, it's crazy. But then you see a box go from like 4 to 8 grand and it's the same 100%. It's the same 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that sounded funny.
Yeah, right though. So I think it just
no,
gets
you're
more
right. Yes,
because it gets more attention because the numbers are bigger, but it's the same percentage moves.
In a release of video saying Pokemon has the plans to open new printing Q1 of 2026. Thoughts? If this is true, any changes to your holding?
Guys,
let's hear it, Alex.
Anon's already been wrong multiple times. Like he's called for so many different reprints. Some came, some didn't. Like, I mean, when you've already been wrong multiple times again and again, and you're just still throwing out these wild, predictions, it's hard to take. How can you just take it at face value? Like, yeah, I could come out and say 10 crazy things in a video, and I'm sure 3, 4, 5 of them are going to be right. I know I've heard that. I don't even know if Anon started that rumor. Like I've heard it now for a while. No idea if it's true. You guys know my policy. Until somebody from Pokemon or like an actual high up, a distributor, like until somebody confirms it other than a content creator, I take it as a rumor. And by the way, that's worked out pretty well going forward. We saw the Poke Notify rumors about Paldea Evolve reprints, all this stuff getting reprinted. You saw what happened there. Like I said, the Anon stuff. And again, people take this as like I'm taking shots at the guy. I'm not. I have nothing against the guy. He's a content creator. He makes content. He has a good following. People like his stuff. Great. I'm just against putting out information that you don't know to be 100% true and speaking about it like it's true. And the fact of the matter is, earlier this year, he made a big list of things that were getting reprinted, and they didn't all come. Therefore, it didn't happen. And so I always take the road of it's rumor until proven true.
Yeah. I mean, I always look to my sources, which are my distributors.
I'm sure this clip will get picked up and he'll like make a video about me saying stuff, but it's like, I have nothing against the guy. Like I say it for the last time, like I'm not trying to like hurt his channel, his business, whatever he's doing. I just don't like putting out rumors, especially when other rumors you put out haven't come true. Like make sure you have like your facts in order or like a statement from Pokemon or something that you can show, like have actual physical evidence you can show before just trying to like, fearmonger people.
Well, and my thing is like, I've mentioned it many times on this channel that there have been speculative beliefs that Pokemon has about an 8 to 10 month print window for reprints, but this is purely speculative, right? There's no like which way of looking at it. And, October will be that 10th month mark. And so however much weight you want to kind of put into it in lining up what historically we've seen, you kind of have to ask yourself the question, like, what truly is fact at this point only comes from distribution and Pokemon directly doing what it's saying it's doing in that moment. There's not really any sort of confirmation on how many, printing facilities they have and how many new contracts they picked up and blah, 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 blah. Like you can kind of look into it. And if you have hard factual evidence, like Alex says, but a lot of it is like, oh, I heard from this confidential source it's like, you're grasping at straws, which of course we're
well, Eli, here,
to be fair, we don't have a lot to go off of. So we're trying to go off of what we can. That seems to be somewhat likely based off of history. But even then, like,
well, here, let me turn the tables, right? Let me turn the tables to like the other side of things. It would be like me talking to my distributor, you talking to your distributors, us talking and saying all the distributors, all the sales reps all said there's no news right now of reprints. And then me coming out the video saying, guys, just heard from all the distributors, absolutely no reprints coming. There's no more supply coming. And it's just like, well, yeah, there was no news right then, but like, making it to be a big thing. It's just like, you can say kind of a lot of things, but they're not really meaningful in the long term or whatever, but they can definitely influence people and influence markets and make them to make decisions. And that's why I'm against all that stuff. I like to operate on facts.
What was the most recent question you asked me, Alex? I don't know if you're going to remember this. A couple weeks ago, you asked me a question about a certain product being reprinted and I hadn't heard about it. And since then that item hasn't.
Yeah, it was another rumor about something getting reprinted. I forget what it was. Yeah, I mean, I do this all the time. I'll see rumors.
Was
online.
It Paldea Evolved? I think it might have been.
That was a while ago. Yeah,
Was that a
That was
while ago?
the Poke Notify, I believe. They have that Discord where they put out this big post, scaring everybody about Paldea Evolve, and they had like booster boxes, ETBs, blisters, everything. And I asked you, you talked to all your reps, no one. I talked to my rep, nothing. And of course, it never came. And then that was when the boxes went down from like 400 down to 320, and then rocketed back up into the mid high 400s. And again, it scared a lot of people out, making one little social media post. And now I'm sure all those people are angry because they got scared out from an online rumor. And that's just why I hate online rumors. But if you have a following nowadays, you can just say stuff and people will believe it. Mason, Cardinal Gaming, shout out Mason. He put out a great video I listened to where he basically said, guys, you got to stop taking advice from people who probably have very little, if any, skin in the game and have no legitimate sources. Like Mason's like, I have multiple card shops, multiple distributors, talk to them all the time. And, I haven't heard half or more of the rumors that are out there, but people hear this stuff and they take it as fact from people who maybe not even been in the hobby that long, don't really have sources, don't have skin in the game, just whatever, and it's become a problem. And hey, unfortunately, me and you, we don't react to them, but unfortunately, a lot of the new people might react to it, and they're going to get hosed, and it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, when it comes to specifically reprints, I will never say anything about it unless I have gotten direct word from my distributor. And obviously, if for whatever reason, like a mistake was made, I'll make a correction. Like one of my distros said there was a reprint coming for Temporal, and then he corrected it later and he said he meant to say Twilight. And obviously, that was for the ETBs, which I mean, it was funny because like he, said, "Oh, it's a massive reprint. It's big." And it wasn't that big. Like it was very small. It was not a lot of ETBs. Like I think between all my distros, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I got like maybe 20, 25 cases between all 5 of our distros. So
I think it's just experience. Like I've been through it where I was like, I sold my early Evolving Skies positions because I believed all the rumors back in the day of like, it's got to get reprinted. It's going to get reprinted. Reprints coming. All the content creators talking about it. And I dumped my Evolving Skies boxes at like $180, $190, whatever. And then had to buy back in at $350 to $400 in my positions I own now because I dumped my original positions. And it's happened other times too, where it's like, when you're newer to the hobby or just starting to like kind of grow, you don't know who to believe or what to believe. And, you don't want to get caught. You don't get hosed. And I think a lot of people just have to go through that and they have to figure out who's got their best interest at heart and who's just trying to get clicks and views and make content.
yeah, 100%. Alrighty, let's go to the next question. Dude, there's a lot going on right now. Do you think with better print quality on the Mega Block and influx of PSA 10s could lower the set value, lowering the box price possibly?
I don't know. Mike, the only reason I don't know about that is because we've kind of been hearing that for all of the Scarlet Violet stuff, at least I have, is people keep saying just wait till the PSA backlog gets back and these prismatic Umbreons are going to crash, or these Pikachu EXs, these Charizard 151s, and it's never happened, right? Like Charizard 151 has got exponential amounts back, and it's only went up in price. So I personally don't really think that having PSA 10s come back is going to affect things, but that's my take.
I think I've said this before. 2 things can be true at once. A set can be expensive because of the singles in it, but a set can also be expensive even without having good singles in it. Like basically what I'm saying is if you look at a set like Journey Together, it's going for $260, the most expensive car. Actually, there's probably an even better example than Journey Together. Where's Paradox? What's Paradox going for right now? It's probably close to 300 if I were to guess at this point for a booster box, probably over 300 maybe. Where is it at right now? Lowest list is 289, right? Yeah, so Paradox is an even better example. So if we take a look at Paradox right now, Paradox most expensive card in the set. Gosh dang it, it's probably the Groudon, isn't it? Yeah, it's the Groudon. It goes for $95. Next after that, you've got the Morpeko, then the Roaring Moon, then the Altaria. And that goes for 50, 45, 43, right? So you have a set where a booster box can be worth an insane amount of money, but there's also zero good pulls in it in terms of overall value, right? Taking that the other direction, you can obviously have a set like a Destined Rivals that is extremely expensive because of some of the expensive cards that you can get inside of it. Because people like the sets because they want to chase the big ones, right? It's just general demand versus scarcity. Simple as that. So I would say that I don't put too much stock in the PSA cards taking a huge correlation to the price of the sealed because we haven't really seen that.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Charizard EX from 151, I think it's a really good one to look at. Let me check it real quick. Yeah, there's 22,700 PSA 10s. 22,700 10s, 73,000 graded. It's rising into the mid thousands. So when I see stuff like that, I don't think that getting hundreds or a few thousand cards from PSA is really going to affect it too much on, the new sets.
With the two Phantasmal framed, we already answered this question. I've managed to acquire 100 prismatic ETBs. 3 cases. I assume. What? Am I dumb? I assume 3 of them were cases. Over the last month, I have DCA'd to about 101 on ETBs. Would you be adding more in my shoes or moving on to something else? No, I'd be. It depends on your storage situation. I don't think. Like, here's my thing about this hobby. You don't need to diversify. You don't. You honest to God don't. That might be a hot take, but like I don't think you do. Because ultimately at the end of the day, here's the thing you have to think about. In this hobby, you're going to hit regardless. So why not go for the home run?
I honestly I can't name a single set other than Crown Zenith that has gotten opened like prismatic evolutions. And I don't see that changing. I don't see that changing if it hits, $10, $12, $15 a pack. Maybe when it gets up into the 20s and 30s a pack. But I think, wanting to, me and I were talking about it. I've said it before. It's the most expensive pack that you can pull in the entire hobby until you get back to like a gold star pool in like mid-era. Like there's no modern pack in XY, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet that matches the value you can get out of that God pack. I mean, even a lot of the demigod packs are more expensive than a lot of packs. So the value you can actually pull out of that set, it's so astronomical. The Umbreon's over $4,000 in a 10. There's so many multiple $100 cards. You got the Shinji Kanda, Roaring Moon. I think people have let their hatred of the set because of the pull rates and the instant high prices out of the gate and this kind of social media appearance that the set has. Let them cloud their judgment. And so for the price point right now on that set compared to like other things, it makes sense. Like this: would you rather buy a prismatic ETB for 100 or a black bolt or like a white flare or something else that's that price? Like I can't see paying for some of these other things right now when prismatic is still so undervalued in my opinion. And the reason it's undervalued is because it's got a lot of printing. Guys, as soon as that faucet turns off, you're going to see a run up just like 151, just like Crown Zenith, just like Paldean Fates. It's going to happen, and people are going to be you're going to have the same YouTube videos. People are all mystified. I can't believe it. It was everywhere. Pokemon needs to reprint it. They just printed it to the ground. They made umpteenth products with it. What do you mean? Well, they need to print more. It's the same thing, guys. It's like Groundhog's Day. It's Groundhog's Day here.
Yeah, I mean, the fundamentals for the set are there from what we've seen historically on what makes a good set and what makes a set that's going to perform extremely well long term. It feels like relative to its demand, it's extremely undervalued for the price that it's at currently. And so why not just take the shot on going heavy on it when you know that in this hobby, product that is filled with booster packs is deflationary. It will go up over time. And
think about this, Eli. What's in Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, XY? What's one good set that hasn't done well over time?
You could have gotten all your money in battle styles, which I wouldn't have recommended.
That was never seen as a good set, but anything that was.
But no. But I was the point I was trying to get at. If you take the worst example, you're still at $300 a box.
Yeah, but any set that was like seen as a good set with like high value chase cards, high popularity Pokemon, no matter how much they were printed, they always did very well. Took Hidden Fates a little longer. Even Hidden Fates has done extremely well now. Evolutions printed to the ground. It's done extremely well, right? Crown Zenith printed to the ground. Crown Zenith's doing extremely well. It's just a matter of time. You can't
So let's
stop
say
it.
Crown Zenith is really the only specialty set you can kind of look at that I would say.
Celebrations.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Celebrations
I mean,
was
Hidden
another one.
Fates, Shining Legends, like Dragon Majesty.
I was gonna say for Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. Yeah, but again, like I don't think Pokemon Go was ever seen as a good set ever. Champion's Path, like people liked it. I think Shining Fates, you could argue, people really thought it was a good set at one point. But I mean, anything that's like a prismatic level, a 151 level set, dude, it's only time. There's no one's gonna stop those from rising.
Yeah.
There's no amount you can print to stop them forever. You can only keep them at bay so long.
You know what's crazy? It took Hidden Fates so long to get to $400, and yet it just still feels bad that it's only at 400.
Yeah.
Because if you went and you bought in when it was like sitting at 160 forever, you're just like, dude, like at best you 3x your money. Actually, no, you didn't even 3x your money. You realistically like 2.5 extra money in like 3 or 4 years, which compared to the rest of the hobby, that sucks.
Hey, think about this. You could take every social media creator, almost anyone in the Discord comment section chat right now. You know what's the funny part about Prismatic and 151 and Paldean Fates and these things? You know, the only thing anyone disagrees with is the time frames.
That checks
If
out.
you told someone that all these packs are going to be $15, almost nobody who's been in the hobby and invested in this hobby is going to disagree with you. The only thing we disagree with is time frames. Some people will say, well, it can't do that till it goes out of print, or it's going to take at least 2 years. Some people say it's going to take 5 years. No one's going to say it's not going to get there. So really all you're thinking about is how long you have to hold before it does get there. That's the crazy part, is that everyone agrees that it's going there, just at different time frames.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, man.
It's crazy.
I mean, I feel like people just get too lost in the weeds a lot of times when it comes to this kind of stuff. But here's when are you expecting the second wave of Mega? Early November. Second wave of Mega was supposed to be 2 to 3 weeks after release, is what I was told. As late as
next week,
a month. As late as a month is what I was told by my distros. Here's the thing, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. My distros say stuff. A lot of times it is 100% accurate, and a lot of times it is accurate in the moment. So things will change. They will get word from Pokemon, and then Pokemon will switch it up on them. So, I mean, I remember when Chilling Reign was supposed to have its second wave 2 weeks after release, and then it turned into a month after release, and then 2 months after the release, and then it wasn't until 4 months after release that we finally got the second wave for Chilling Reign. So I'm not yeah. I'm not banking on it.
Yeah.
But that's what they've told me. Do you think the amount of people sealed investing, it will hurt or limit the gains of long-term prices on sealed product? No, not at all. We've said this so many times.
I've been having the same argument all the way back when I was like talking to people on online forums, like back in like 2016. And I had the same argument when I started YouTube 3 years ago. We've been having the same argument for 10 years now. Like, yeah, everyone always every era you hear this. People said this when Evolutions got printed into the ground, and then Sun and Moon, they upped the print runs. People thought that in Sun and Moon, oh, it's not going to be like XY. The print runs are higher now. And then Sword and Shield came after the big COVID boom. And everyone's like, oh, well, it's not going to happen like Sun and Moon XY. There's too much printed now. And then Scarlet Violet came. Oh, it's not going to be like Sword and Shield. There's too much printed now. It's the same thing regurgitated over and over. And it's never a problem.
I mean, literally, dude, like, how do I want to say this? Let me see if I can pull something up that I can use to show. Give me a second. Here, keep talking. I'm going to pull something
No,
up.
I mean, everyone always feels like there's too many people doing something. But in reality, if you went to like, I don't know, your local sports team's like baseball game, and you asked every person in that baseball stadium, if they're investing in Pokemon, you'd be hard pressed probably to find a handful that are. And anyone that says they are, you'd be hard pressed to find someone who actually has like $5,000 or $10,000 worth of it. Like, I know it seems like in this little bubble, this little Pokemon investing bubble where you go to all these different channels and it feels like everyone's doing it. One, the majority of people online either lie or embellish on how much they actually have. And two, as many people say they're doing it, aren't doing it. Three, the people that are doing it usually sell out very early and take instant gains because they don't have the stomach to hold long enough. And eventually, as time goes on, less and less people actually have, the people that said they have it actually don't even have it by the time, later comes. And so that's the things I would just tell you to put your mind more at ease.
I mean, it's as simple as this, guys, right? So if we're just talking about a general market, right? You've got your uptrend, right? And within this uptrend, you could have a point in which 100 PSA 10 cards is considered extremely scarce, right? And then eventually the market corrects and you start to see people kind of get out of the hobby because the speculators that got in because they wanted to get the easy money, they left. They no longer believe in the hobby itself. They held on to it because their buddy said they made a ton of money in it, but realistically, they just didn't have the patience or the discipline to get into something they don't believe in, right? Then you see the next leg, and this is usually done over, anywhere between a year to 3 to 5 year cycle, right? All of a sudden, what's next? Oh, 1,000 cards in a PSA 10 is now considered to be scarce. All right, cool, sweet. Same exact thing happened here, but now it's just done 10x higher. What's that? Oh, crap. What do you know? 10,000. It's literally the exact same thing happening. It's just in different scales. So when people ask the question, like, does the amount of people sealed investing hurt or limit the gains of long-term potential in sealed? It doesn't, because the thing about this hobby is it grows exponentially. So 100 used to be scarce, then 1,000 used to be scarce, and then 10,000, and then so on and so forth, because it's more people being in the hobby and it's more product printing, and it's just things happening at higher exponential points. But it's the same thing happening with a little bit of differences in between.
And not only that, on that chart, I mean, you can pick any part in that chart and there's going to be someone selling and there's also going to be someone buying. Like, it's not like all the investors get together and say, okay, we're all going to sell right now. And it's just like, everyone's got different stages of their life. They're going through different price points. They're looking to hit different percentage gains, no one's selling at the same times. No one buying at the same times. To really, I think people kind of have that vision in their head, like eventually all the investors are going to dump right here at this point on the graph. And it just doesn't happen that way.
Right. And I use the example of, PSA. When I use the numbers, you could easily switch that to printed supply and just add a couple zeros, and it could apply to the exact same thing. Oh, well, Pokemon's printing double the amount of sealed product they did before. Do you think that's going to affect it? No, it's not, because even the most printed into the ground product like Evolutions is worth $1,000+ a box. Like, you look at literally any product that people are like, dude, Charizard Ultra Premium Collection was printed into the ground. It goes for over $400 a UPC. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's deflationary.
It is crazy how people they just forget that so quickly. They forget Charizard UPC so quickly. Evolutions, Crown Zenith, 151 UPCs. It's like once something's gone, people can forget how long those products were sitting there, how many people said they were bricks, wouldn't move forever. The Chilling Rain Fusion Strike Battle Styles boxes, and then as soon as they go up, people forget that and say, well, maybe there's too many people now. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the scary thing about it all. It's funny. I just saw someone read this. I should have had Pokemon as an example in my economics class during my college days. You know what's actually kind of scary or weird to think about? You could easily apply this to everyday life.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to housing. But the scariest part about it all, though, is with at least housing, technically there is a limitation on how many homes there could be made. I mean, you've only got so much area.
I mean, technically, right?
Technically, right. But I guess the point I'm trying to articulate with this is you look at housing and how much it's gone up over time. right? In the same way as this graph. And so the scary part of it all is that a lot of people look at housing prices in the same regard and they say, oh, it can't ever be this expensive. But then if you go look at places like Canada, where houses are 30% more expensive and they make 40% less than us, like it can easily be much, much worse. And so as much as I hate to say it, like the economics that we are basing this off of is just supply and demand, basic fundamental economics that you can easily look at in everyday life when it comes to the general macroeconomics of the United States economy or any economy.
Yeah.
So just something to think about. As much as I hate to say it.
Honestly, speaking like economics, it kind of goes back to what you said earlier, which is sad. Like it is sad. Like there's no way around it. But like you said, the kind of spread is getting deeper between like, no middle class, where there's just like kind of like the haves, the have-nots. And like you said, for people without assets, it's worse than ever. But for people with assets, it's like better than ever. And so with that being said, the people with assets that are constantly like appreciating, seeing more and more money will now have more disposable income to spend than ever, which continues like things like luxury items like Pokemon cards continue to do better because the people that could already afford Pokemon, they're able to afford more than ever.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of these things where assets are exponential, like compounding interest or just compounding rate of return makes you so much money. If you really want to understand the key on how to be wealthy, like it's very simple. It's own as many assets as you can and limit the amount of depreciating liabilities and or debts you have. And it's as simple as that. Obviously, the more you can increase your overall income so that you can get there faster is a big factor that comes into play on this. But realistically speaking, if you can just continue to aggressively invest in assets, those assets are going to continuously give you a return in the long run, as long as they're not overly speculative assets, right? We're talking about securities.
And let me speak real quick to all the teens and 20s out there. If any of you guys that young are watching, if you have privilege in your life, if you are like a privileged individual that has like a strong family household, that your parents are allowing you to stay at home longer, that you can sit, anything that puts you ahead, take it. Don't be one of those people that like, I just got to get away. I got to get my own place. I got to get out on my own. I got to do this. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you have that opportunity, stay home, put money away, invest it, save up cash, like put yourself ahead in life. Don't struggle if you don't need to. Don't go blow your money on frivolous things. Don't think life's all about experiences when I'm in my 20s. Like, I'm not saying I don't have any fun, but if you can get ahead of the game right now and put money in assets, that's the name of the game. Again, not everyone can. It's a privilege to be able to do that, right? Because I know people are going to say things like, Alex, I grew up, I had to get out, or I didn't. No, life's not there. I'm not saying it is. If you have that opportunity, don't squander it. Don't squander it. Get ahead.
I'd be curious to look at a chart. I'm trying to see if I can find one. But basically, if you go look at your wealth multiplier between when you invest in things from the age of 20 compared to 30, it's insane how much more exponential it is because you have time on your side.
Yeah.
Like the sooner you can invest, the better. And just because you're in your 30s and 40s doesn't mean it's too late. If you haven't started investing, like you can still make it happen. The Evolution Prismatic Pokeball seems like a play once Prismatic is done being ripped. I see the Pokeballs reach in between 10 to 15. The Master Balls are probably at the moment.
Pokeballs? I understand the Master Ball play. The Pokeball play may be reaching, but it's a speculation. They're pretty common though. They're pretty common.
I was about to say, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that. You could maybe make an argument for Master Balls, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many Pokeballs. Maybe it's just me.
What though? Judging by what you
never know.
Celebrations, Hollow Mew, like, dude, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. Maybe some of those Pokeballs.
It's possible. It's definitely a speculative play.
Put it this way, I would never say it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you think PCI should reduce the sets they're releasing in this new black based on the
block?
Oh, block. Jeez Louise. It's hard to read. I I love how I read the small text off to the side and not the big bold one in front of me. Is this new blog based on the way the market is at? I feel like they can make money and give people to get them at a decent price.
I mean, it's a constant juggling act, Magic basically killed their market by printing too much. And, now they've, taken down the print runs and it successfully, rebounded. I mean, there's obviously a middle ground, but Pokemon definitely doesn't want to put it this way. If you said, is Pokemon Company more happy right now or in 2022, exponentially more happy right now? Could you say they want to make it more affordable and more attainable? For sure, but not at the expense of going back to 2022 levels where distros and stores couldn't get rid of the product.
Yeah, I think might be a hot take, but I don't think they're pushing out too many sets. And the reason why I believe this is because if you had a situation where, like, how many Pokemon sets came out in 2024?
I think it's usually 6. I think it's 2 specialties and 4 main.
So let's say, let's say, yeah, because last year we had did we have Paradox last year? I don't think we had 151. I don't think we did.
Alfred just said Magic announced they have 7 sets for 2026, so they're actually printing more than Pokemon.
Well, I'm talking about Pokemon here.
Yeah.
I don't know how many we had here in 2020.
I'm pretty sure it's 6 a year.
We'll say 6, right? Let's say you cut that in half, right? And you only have 3. The problem you're going to have is people get burned out of a set and they want to move on to the next thing. And so you'll have periods in time where these sets will perform great out the gate, and then afterwards it's just sitting and it's just nothingness.
Yeah, you probably have to delete TikTok if you want Pokemon to only print 3 sets, because you'd have to repair people's attention spans.
No, but like, actually though, people have to realize that, like, when it comes to this hobby, people are so quick to wanting the new next best thing that we'll be having conversations about sets that haven't even come out yet and just have IP trademarks before another set has even been leaked yet of what the cards are going to be in it.
Dude, it was the Monday before the official release, right? I'm opening Mega Evolutions for the first time on stream, by the way. First time we've ever seen these cards. People are in the chat like, Alex, so how long before Phantasmal Flames?
Yeah.
People are looking for the next set when the first set isn't even officially out, dude. Like, the attention spans now, the attention spans are so short that you guys like are saying they're releasing too many sets, but then me as like a streamer, dude, I gotta have like the new set, the Japanese set, the Chinese set, just to get to, or maybe even like another TCG, like a Magic or a White Schwartz, just to get to the next English Pokemon release. Because if not, people would already be tired of all those other things. Like, that's how the attention spans of people now needing something new all the time is worse than ever. And so I'm with Eli. Like, if they didn't print enough, man, people would be so bored.
Yeah, people would get bored and the product would just end up tanking, like, aggressively. I mean, I'm not saying this is the reason for it, but if you look at some of the older sets in like the Diamond Pearl era, if you look at some of the sets in like the Black and White and the XY era, like, it was a different time. I mean, obviously, than where it is now. But the biggest complaint a lot of people had was they would have a set they didn't like. They would get the set and then they would be like, well, crap, I got to wait X amount longer until the next set comes out. And then from there, the hobby is in this like weird kind of point where it just like, it goes back to momentum. It goes back to momentum. If you have a set that comes out and you can follow that up 2 to 3 months afterwards with another hot set, you can keep the momentum going. But if you have one bad set and you have to wait 6 more months or 4 more months or 5 more months before another good set comes out, people could get bored and then start leaving the hobby, which sounds crazy to say, but that's literally how people have acted in this hobby. And so you can easily have a bad set, follow up in 2-3 months a good set, and then people just forget about that bad set and they move on to the next one. But if there's any point in time, people will get bored and they'll move on because like it's too far away. I've got other things that I want to be into right now in the moment.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it comes down to attention spans. They're too short to, I think, lengthen it. I really, truly believe that. I've experienced it. I mean, it's just like people are, I promise you, I wouldn't bet if like in 2 more weeks, people are kind of like bored of opening mega evolutions.
Yeah, I only start to get concerned if it's one of these things where like they're printing one set every month. Then we can have that conversation. Which if they're doing something like that, that would be impressive. But also like that'd be too much.
You know what's funny though? You know what's a really good example of this outside of like the cardboard world is the UFC. So the UFC used to be like only like 4 events a year when I started watching it way back when. And they started to kind of ramp it up more and more and more and more. They started to get these TV deals. And then it was like every 2 weeks, like you'd have a main show, then a fight night, then a main show. And it'd be like 26 weeks a year, there'd be a show. And, you know, a lot of people like think that, you know, well, yeah, that watered it down, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, the UFC is more successful than ever, making more money than ever. And they have more fans than ever. And so it's like, yeah, you may have liked it more before, or it may have like, you know, been a bigger deal. But the fact of the matter is everything is doing better than ever. So it's like, yeah, it may be like cool to focus on sets more, kind of like the UFC used to be. But at the end of the day, it's still better overall for the company and for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Let's take one more question and then get out of here. We've been almost going for 2 hours. I just saw how much time we were at. That's crazy. All right, we'll do this. How long do you think it'll take this market to edge out enough young people without resources to diminish popularity? Sorry to load that question. That's the only way to figure correction outcomes or a correction comes.
Here's the thing, dude. I don't know. Like, I'm delusional. I'm told by the internet. I think like 5 different content creators said I'm delusional, and their comment sections, I believe, agreed. So you can't really take anything I say because it's delusion. But all I know, almost every time in my streams, I have people talking, parents saying we're, you know, opening packs tonight with my kids. Every time I go in my local card shops, there's kids in there, their parents are buying them packs. There's kids sitting at table. I'm talking kids. Like, I don't know how old kids are, anywhere from 7 to 14 years old, somewhere in those ranges, opening packs. I don't know. Everywhere I go, I see kids still opening packs. So I don't know if it's just like based on, you know, where you are, how you view the world, but everywhere I look, it looks like there's still a lot of fun being had with Pokemon with the younger generation, both in the play. When you go look at the store, like the play events, and when you look at pack openings and things and pre-releases, there's still tons of kids in the store with their parents. I don't know. That's my perspective.
Here's my take. I think we're looking at this the wrong way, because there are 3 like major factors, and then there's multiple other overarching factors that make Pokemon popular, right? You've got the player base, you've got the collector base, and then you've got the gambling base, right? Those are your main 3. And then you've got the overarching factors, which is people that like to collect because of the nostalgia. They like to play because of the nostalgia. And then there's the other individuals that also like to use Pokemon as a coping mechanism. Because as crazy as it sounds, and we've said this on the stream before, you've had a hard day at work. Nothing feels greater than going home and ripping a couple booster packs and getting a couple of cool cards. Like, legitimately, it sounds funny to say out loud, but like, you've got people that are in this hobby that are straight up using this as like a vice, because it truly is. Like, you know, like straight up, like it is people getting a hit and just, dude, I had a rough day at work. I just opened a pack that made my day because I got $100 hit off of a $10 pack, right?
It was good. I liked that.
And so, yeah, literally. So the thing is that Pokemon, it's not like it's this super speculative item when it comes to the trading card base, that there's only a certain subset of individuals that like it and it's niche for that regard. It's like, no, there is a huge demographic that you can pull from every different age group, right? Because you can look at kids that are my age or older, and they obviously are 90s kids, right? They grew up during that time. The nostalgia is real. But then you've also got people our age that have kids, or people that are, anyway, you get the point, that have kids and they are collecting with their kids and helping them explore the world of Pokemon, right? And so it's generational in that way. And then there's just people that are not nostalgic, period, but just like the fact that they can gamble with cool cards that they enjoy also collecting. So there's multiple different facets to this hobby that make it so fundamentally strong that it's not just one of these things where it's like, oh, the market in, the US economy is not doing great, therefore Vegas is down because a lot of people don't have as much expendable income to go gamble. It's like, no, a lot of people aren't in this hobby for gambling. A lot of people are in this hobby for other reasons, and a lot of people are in this hobby for other reasons. They're in it for gambling. So you just have a really wide demographic of people that are in this hobby that Pokemon is able to appeal to. And that's why it's ridiculously popular.
Yeah, and honestly, like, again, like, this is, again, maybe more of a delusional take. I don't care. I'll take the medicine if that's what you guys think it is, but I don't know. I grew up middle class. I think Eli did. I mean, I didn't get a bunch of packs when I was young. Like, if we went to a card shop or Walmart and they had them in stock, we got 2 or 3 packs. Like, I got 2 or 3 packs at a time. I don't think 2 or 3 packs when they used to cost $4 at retail is much different from today's like standard of like what people are making to get 2 or 3 packs at $6 or $7. I think people are looking at it as like, oh, well, now I can't buy a full booster box or, multiple boxes, multiple ETBs. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was ever the case when we were younger, though. It's just like, I think relative to like earning now, I think 2 to 3 packs now is not much crazier than 2 or 3 packs 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago.
You just have to look at the hit rates now.
The hit rates are work. I get it for sure. But at the same time, also, other than the top, again, it's changed more recently.
Well, no, what I was getting at was you just have to look at the hit rates now comparable to the value of the cards of current compared to before.
Yeah.
Because they're significantly better.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, you can hit like, I don't know, if you don't want to like go after the craziest, like most expensive hits, dude, you can collect like 99% of these sets for like cheap.
Dude, imagine like a card being worth over $200 as a main pull 5 years ago. Like, that's crazy to think about. Whereas nowadays, if a set doesn't have an at least $100 pull, it's considered weak. Even then,
and like I said, man, like you could fill binders up right now with like really cool looking arts and cards that are like all $5-10 or less. I mean, I think it's just the reason these pulls are so expensive is everybody wants them. It's just like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about a collectible. It's not meant to be something everyone can have, right? It's meant to be collectible. It's meant to be sought after, like something to chase and eventually get to, right?
Yeah, 100%. All right. We'll end it at that though. Anything you want to say before we head on out of here, Alex?
No, man, it was a great stream. I think the Spider-Man thing is a little bit of kind of like a contained situation based on, Spider-Man not going over well with the Magic community with like TCG, no serialized cards, poor hit rates. I don't think it's indicative of like a Magic or anyway like TCG slowdown. I think it's pretty much like centralized just to that set. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's, in my opinion, you can obviously take away from it and say, hey, here's what Magic is doing wrong that Pokemon could do wrong. But also, you can't look at it and compare it 1-to-1 in the same way, just based on the fact that it's a different type of, base of people, right? Much more collectors in Pokemon compared to players, like in Magic. So,
yeah.
And obviously, Pokemon is popular because of Pokemon. Magic is right now going super IP heavy. And they're trying to obviously license out the rights to a lot of things. I mean, we won't go into it because we got to get going here, but like they're literally coming out with like a secret layer for like Dwight Schrute. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, I don't know if you heard about that, but like
No.
there's a Dwight Schrute secret layer that they released. and it's all Dwight Schrute cards. So like, yeah, take that as you will. But we'll head on out of here, guys. Want to, of course, ask that you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. Really helps out the YouTube channel. And if you like Alex's content as well and want to hear more of him, check out the link down in the description below to watch him and subscribe to him. But have a good one all. See you all next Monday. Peace.